estimate opposition in India per se. Opposition parties or formations could be weak, but opposition is not weak in India. Just to give you a little longish answer, but your audience should understand this. A lot of us, we think that in last 9-10 years, opposition has been weak and Modi-led BJP had one-way run to the power and control, complete control. That's not true. If you look at data and events closely, I, with my limited understanding, can pick at least 3 significant opportunities which opposition had when they could have really pushed BJP on the back foot. The first.
And very warm welcome to the Adda. So lovely to have you. I must say, just for everybody to know, this is the first time we're doing an Adda in the morning. Yeah. And especially in a cold winter morning, 9:45, we're at 10:15 now, but 9:45, 10 a.m. is, for a newsroom, it's actually like 6 a.m. If you ask for an Indian newspaper newsroom, like 10 a.m. is as good as 6 a.m. for the normal person. So we want you to clear the fog for us and also maybe generate some heat for us in the winter. So I think what I would like to start with, so we had a conversation, Adda with Prashant now 2 years ago. That time it was still end of COVID, so it was not a physical event, it was an online. I think it was our last online Adda. And he gave this one kind of a thing which he's very good at, he just these short statements. He gave this one statement which said the success of elections is 4 M's. He said it's the message, I hope I get this right. It's the message, the messenger, the machine, and the method. The mechanics, the machine and the mechanics. These are the 4 M's that he said, if you get 3 of these 4 M's right, that's sort of the way to win an election. Still standing by that? Okay. I'm going to throw a few more M's into the, go ahead.
No, please, go ahead. So, good morning, everyone.
So I'm going to throw a few more M's into this equation for 2024. Is it Modi, Mandir, and money versus minorities and mandal?
No, it's.
Am I trying too hard to put this?
See, the M's on the up. First side, you're just making 3 M's. It's only 1 M. It's Modi. Rest everything, whether it's money or Mandir, it's all subservient to brand Modi. The vote is going to be for or against Mr. Modi, the person, his ideology, his work style, what he has delivered, has not delivered, what people think of him, good, bad, whatever. But the vote is, it's very clear, it's in and around Mr. Modi. Mandir also is subservient to it. If just go to the field today and just after this hype of Ram Mandir and remove Modi from the equation, I think most BJP contestants would struggle despite all other M's.
Okay.
It's still Modi is the delta.
So the opposition is therefore always going to struggle because everything else is tough to match just that one main factor of Modi.
No, right? That's not true. Opposition is not going to always struggle. Last time also I told you, never underestimate opposition in India per se. Opposition parties or formations could be weak, but opposition is not weak in India. Just to give you a little longish answer, but your audience should understand this. A lot of us, we think that in last 9-10 years, opposition has been weak and Modi-led BJP had one-way run to the power and control, complete control. That's not true. If you look at data and events closely, I, with my limited understanding, can pick at least 3 significant opportunities which opposition had when they could have really pushed BJP on the back foot. The first one start right early in 2015. A lot of us, we have forgotten. The government was still new. They were still to find their feet. There was nothing much to write home except for early success of Jan Dhan and little bit of ground chatter about Swachh Bharat and yoga. And BJP faced election, and in 2015, they had a massive setback in Delhi, January 2015, when Aam Aadmi Party won 67 out of 70 seats. That followed up, the moment came in November 2015 when the first experiment of all opposition parties coming together against BJP happened successfully in much talked about Bihar election. So the first moment opposition had against this dispensation was November 2015 and the following months, when on the back of the Delhi defeat, BJP was defeated in Bihar, government was yet to find its feet. And this is the first time when senior leadership in last 10 years has gone public again, criticizing or questioning at least the leadership of the present BJP dispensation. But what happened post Bihar, 4 months BJP went on to lose Bengal, Tamil Nadu and all other elections, but they saved by Assam. So Assam was one thing which allowed them to come back. And then they went on to win Bihar. So the first phase for opposition was November 2015. They could have easily got back into action. But at that time, most of the opposition leaders would say they were chilling that Modi has just come, sooner he will become unpopular and we will have our days back. So that was the first big missed opportunity. The second one came immediately after demonetization. Demonetization led to massive unrest, economic unrest, stagnation on rural wages and farm distress. And that was reflected in the political developments in 17-18, where on the back of this demonetization-led economic distress, massive social uprising in Gujarat, particularly the Patel Andolan, so much so that a weakened Congress almost went on to defeat BJP, if you remember, in this November-December 2017. BJP lost Karnataka. Then they went on to lose 3 states, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh. So the whole year, like 2015, they didn't have single victory. Between January 2014 to May 2015, almost 15 months, first episode, BJP did not get any victories. Somehow they just managed Assam, and which was purely a mistake of Congress that time. They did not handle their internal affairs correctly. They went with old guard, Mr. Gogoi, who was facing 3-term incumbency, and that allowed BJP to come back. Similarly, in this phase, which started post-demonetization, and data will tell you, economy was in trouble. There was rural unrest, farmers' distress, rural wages stagnated, and on top of that, political setback in Gujarat, then Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan. Everything BJP lost. But Congress made major mistakes again, because in what happened in following 4 months, they missed out on taking on 2 key allies of NDA of that time. One was ever-changing Nitish Kumar and Shiv Sena. If you go dig deeper, your political journalists, reporters will tell you that both Shiv Sena and Nitish Kumar were almost willing to shift to the UPA side. The second mistake Congress did in election going into 2019, they did not join the alliance of BSP-SP, which was a formidable thing in UP. If Congress would have joined that alliance, it would have made a difference, at least to another 15-20 seats. And so they allowed this second thing to go. And they thought that Chaukidar Chor they looked Rafael as the next before. So this was the second missed opportunity. Mark you, every episode I'm mentioning, it's a 15 months period. So opposition had those first 15 months in 15 running starting January 15 to May 2016. Then they had their opportunity starting mid 2018 till end 2009. Sorry, mid 2017 to end 2018. And then the third opportunity they got was post Bengal in 2021. Imagine the COVID, everyone was distressed, anxious. They lost the high decibel Bengal election. And as the results were coming, the second wave was hitting India. And the first time data will tell you the Modi's personal popularity took a significant dip, almost 20 percentage point. Then what did opposition do? Nothing. So it's not that
You think opposition has gotten three or
opposition never had these opportunities, but as we say in cricket, you have to take your chances. You have to convert even half chances. Here you have 3 full 12 to 15 months time period when BJP was on back foot. They had no way to go. You were on top and you just simply allowed them to make a comeback. And if you allow these things to do, as in cricket we say, if you drop 3 catches of a good batsman, he's going to make you pay. And that is what is happening.
Yeah. You.
So please don't say that BJP has not been under pressure. Don't say that people are all in awe with BJP. Everyone is for them. People right from the day one, opposition, those who are opposed to BJP, right for right or wrong reason, they have tried. They have given opportunity. It's simply opposition parties
hasn't taken it.
And the formations, they have not been able to capitalize on it. And that's why they are facing a situation where to many of us is looking that there is no way out, at least in near term, in next 5 to 6 months time.
And one of the things that the reason opposition doesn't get its act together is a lot of internal issues in the parties, right? I mean, maybe there aren't internal issues in TMC or in the regional parties, but the Congress.
Tell me, Anand, when Bihar was won in 2015, BJP lost Delhi in January. They lost in November 2015 Bihar. So whole year they did not win a single election. BJP senior leadership of that time, they went public, please check the records. They questioned the leadership style and how BJP is now run. Fast forward 4 months, they lost Bengal, they lost Tamil Nadu, all 4 states, but for Assam. Just imagine if Congress would have been able to held ground in Assam. What did it require? It required Congress at that time to manage their internal affairs, Gogoi versus Hemant Biswa Sarma, little better. Again, I will give in tennis, in a 5-hour match, there is 1 point which you miss and you lose.
So what if I was...
So it's not only a function of, too many parties, too many contracts. It was at that time, I remember distinctly meeting Congress leadership. I came with Mr. Nitish Kumar at that time, and we were literally begging them that please, for God's sake, put your effort in Assam. BJP must not win Assam. If that happens, then it will be a major setback. They did not put their act together. No, and it was only for Congress to win Assam or to hold Assam.
No, but so I think the internal issues is one of the reasons that the opposition is not getting its act together. What you're also saying is that
it's a leadership
failure.
When you get a chance, you have to make it count. But as simple as this.
But aren't there also internal issues in the BJP?
Of course, I'm telling you, these internal issues have surfaced.
Yes.
But internal issues will come up on the surface only when they are on the back foot. When you are dominating, then again.
In Delhi, for instance, right, there was a whole talk when they imported a chief ministerial candidate who wasn't from the ranks. There was a lot of rebellion. There was a lot of unhappiness amongst the old RSS workers, the BJP people, for supporting a new face.
See, these things in politics, dissent, rebellion, dissent, is always there. When going is good, you are able to manage it better. If going is tough, then it's not going to be easy to manage because people are not seeing their future there.
Is there a threat in the BJP internally now? Not threat as in terms of sabotage, any of that. I'm not going to those words.
No.
But the way that Shivrajji, Vasundharaji...
No, nothing. Until and unless they are pushed electorally on the back foot, no internal dissent will come to the surface, no matter how much you talk and how much merit is there. Maybe the truth is there, what you're saying. But for it to come on the surface, they need to take an electoral setback.
So
when the electoral setback happens, then opposition has to be on their toes. They have to make them count. Then only this dissent you can benefit from.
Now, what if we frame this differently, the opposition's predicament? So what if we say that the opposition has not yet found the language to take on the Hinduism or Hindutva of the BJP? No, let me just finish. So, they've tried, let's say, 4 different tacks. One is they've said caste, mandal. Second, they've said secular concerns, whether it's COVID or it's unemployment or it's price rise. Third, they've said this alliance math, that we'll just get together, we'll make these Mahagathbandhans, and that will take care of it. Fourth is the Me Too Hindutva, that I will also be Hindu and I will wear the Janeu and I will go to the temple. So these are the four tacks that they've tried to take on the BJP's Hindutva. Do you think the answer is a fifth one, or do you think it's a combination of these four?
I think we are missing the jungle for the wood. I know a lot of people sitting in Delhi, they are too obsessed with this idea of Hindutva, Hinduism, which are, let's take fact as it is. Let's say those who believe in BJP's Hindutva, they are with them. But even if they are with them, let's take that there is a lot of people who are fans of Mr. Modi or their voter and admirers of him. They have the organization, they have the message, machinery, everything. But put together, they are only 38. The 100 people who went to vote, only 38 voted for BJP. The remaining 62, despite the message, despite Hindutva, despite organization, despite the muscle, electoral and financial muscle, they were still opposed to BJP. Now the challenge is to how to get the majority of this 62. One way to look at is simply those who are, I would say, being lazy, they are just saying that all who got 62, they come together in the room and then hence we'll get 62. The approach being followed in this India thing. It's not going to work because you don't only have to bring people and the parties together, you also have to build synergy between them. Synergy in terms of narrative, synergy in terms of their grassroots efforts, synergy in terms of their campaign on the ground. Merely putting people together are not going to give you 62. So if I am advising someone who is fighting or trying to fight BJP, I would say that let's keep this 32, even add 2% more to BJP and say that 40% are not going to vote for us. But there is still a denominator to play. And that denominator is 60%. How do I get 60% of that 60%? That gives me 36, 37% vote, and that will bring me in contention. Once you are seen in reckoning, then you will see the cracks emerging out of that 38 also, whether it's supporter, cadre, or the leaders, what you mentioned. But unless you cross 30, nobody will find courage to come and join forces with you. So I wouldn't spend time how to counter Hindutva. I would say how do I first galvanize who are not convinced with this Hindutva? Then I will get into the nitty-gritty. Can I educate more people, enlighten, and take 5% of those who believe in BJP's version of Hindutva and those who are not convinced about their version of Hindutva? But there is 60% who are not convinced with them. Why are we not working with them?
The Mandir didn't take 38. You don't think Mandir has taken 38% to 50%?
No, certainly there was no Mandir in 2019.
No,
there was no Mandir in 2014.
Now post Mandir, that 38 isn't getting more consolidated?
My sense is Mandir is a very big issue, has been made now a big issue. It is a big issue, big chatter point. It will certainly, it will enthuse BJP cadres, supporters, voters, and to that extent, maybe the polling percentage will be higher. To that extent, probably the dissent would be crossed within BJP ecosystem. Yeah. To that extent, probably people will be more enthused to go and vote. But is it breaking into that 62? Probably not. I do not meet many people who, after 10 years observing, seeing what BJP is doing, right or wrong, and saying that just because Mandir is there, now I'm shifting. I have seen that, to my surprise, in the case of 370. There are far more incremental vote linked to 370 than the Mandir. If you go and test the data, look at the data, hard data on the ground.
That's interesting.
There is much more voters, incremental voter that has come BJP's ways, courtesy 370, than the Mandir per se. Mandir is more like a steroid. It's not the drug which is going to give you good health.
Yeah.
It's a steroid. Definitely it's an steroid, but not. It's not going to give you an incremental vote.
Fair. So to get the 60 of the 60, that how you phrased it, and just to take Vandita's point forward, a lot of people use the word secular. That's the way we're going to get the...
Is anyone using the word secular? Sometimes I struggle. I don't find it.
No, so the word secular actually become a bad word now, because if the opposition uses it, you use against them. If the government uses against them.
Opposition is not losing because of use or not using secular. Opposition is losing because simply they are not up to the task. They have been, sorry to say, they have been lazy. 5 years, you make India Alliance. Just take this example. You made India Alliance for whatever it is worth. You made 9 months before general election. Tell me what prevented all these wise men and women who are running the opposition party and part of India Alliance to do the same thing 2 years back or immediately after Bengal, when chips were down for BJP. That was the time for you to make India Alliance if you believed in this. Assume that you forgot 2 years. You were roaming around in the world. You're not concerned about that. You thought general election is very far off. Imagine Mr. Modi would have started the Mandir whole making schedule would have done 2 years back to match it with this January thing.
Yes.
Now you're crying foul, oh, he has planned it so close to the general election, this, that. But he has planned 2 years back. What did you do? 2 years back, you were thinking, okay, we will do it when the general election comes. So I think they have, and even when you made, just take this example, when they made first meeting of India Alliance, if I recall correctly, it was in June 2023.
Yeah.
June to 2023, and we are sitting now in end, today is February to 2024.
Second, yeah.
India Alliance has not done one single public meeting. The total number of work hours for India Alliance is 6 days, including tea, coffee served. 6 days. You tell me, if Rahul Gandhi can go for a Europe trip for 6 days, what prevented these India Alliance people to lock themselves in a place and do this 6 days job and finish it in June itself? Why are you meeting once in 3 months? And that too, before they go to the meeting place, they book their return ticket. So every meeting you hear that so-and-so leader went before meeting ended. Why? Because they had a flight to catch. Just imagine what seriousness
But 2
you're
years
showing.
ago,
And then you and I, we are analyzing whether to call Hindutvawadi. Yeah, where is the effort? You put an effort, then we get into this nitty-gritty.
What's the cause that brought them in that room? It's just anti-Modi, anti-BJP. That's the only...
No, cause is that everyone wants to survive. It's not anti-Modi. They want to
that's not-
survive. They want to hold on to the
So
ground.
that's not a consumer-facing cause, no? Like, I want to survive. That's why we're meeting. I mean, what is the bid to the voter? Why should the voter, what is that one thing, that one agenda point, like you were saying, that puts all these?
No, they
guys
have
together?
not been able to put that agenda point. That's why they are struggling.
So what should
That's
it be?
I'm
What
saying.
should it be? If it's not secular, if it's
I
not...
don't know. Luckily, I'm not in a space where I have to advise what it should be. But certainly, what is appearing on, what is very clear to us, that they have not been able to put that narrative, agenda point, whatever, that would have galvanized the
So
country.
what could it be? Is it unemployment? Is it secular? Is it
Well-being,
jobs? Is it, I don't know, what is it?
Well-being of vast majority of Indians. That has not necessarily improved, not by the as much as what government claims. And there is a quite a bit of unrest on that count. Well-being in totality. Now, well-being of people in Delhi and well-being of people in Bihar are two different yardsticks.
Yeah.
Their aspirations are different. But in general, the well-being of vast majority of Indians is not necessarily as good as what government is claiming, and that should have been the opening for the opposition.
But economy is doing very well by any
No,
standard.
no. I don't think so.
So
You look at the data that has come yesterday. 60% people who make less than 5,000 rupees are saying that economy has worsened. Their economic situation has worsened. So which data you're talking about?
the trickle down is a problem.
No, it's not trickle down. Those who are rich, 25% of them, even 25% of them also have said that economic situation has worsened. But those who are making less than 5,000, 61% of those who are making 5,000 or less per month are saying that in last 10 years, economic situation has worsened for them. So where is the, but see, if there is a field and there is paddy, that is not going to fill your stomach. You need to harvest that paddy for you and convert it into rice and cook it for yourself to eat. So there is a lot of distrust, lot of unrest, lot of dissent, but somebody need to, and that's the role of a political formation or a party in a democracy. People on their own, they cannot do it. They will do it, but if they do it, then it will become like a street-based revolution.
You said the opposition should have started 2 years ago. 2 years
I
ago.
just give one example.
Yeah,
They would
but-
have done so many other things.
But you have been now doing your Bihar yatra for the last, 17 months. So
Yes.
2 years ago, were you not advising some of these same leaders
No.
of the opposition?
No, I see. I'm talking to you. Am I advising you? If we are chatting, we will, I will sit with Anant and what Indian Express should be doing. We can have a free-floating chat, but that's
which
not,
has happened.
which happens. So, no, post-Bengal, I have spoken to a lot of people, including Congress, great length, much of is known in the public domain. But after that, I have realized that they are not necessarily, they want to do it, but they want to do it their way. Unfortunately, in my limited understanding, there is no way I could do this, something different, following the same way what they are following.
In your yatra, you speak a new kind of language. You berate the voter. You tell the voter that you are not voting, keeping your child's future in mind. And that's why you're getting the kind of politics and policy that you're getting. You're getting the politics of caste and religion because you're not voting for your child's future. So can the voter not actually turn back and say to you that I have a limited menu of options? I have to nobody is giving me a better school for my child. So I might as well vote for somebody who's giving me the temple or somebody who's my own caste person.
Yeah.
And also since you've been on the other side of the fence as well, when you were advising these people, did you not tell them to talk about people's children and their future?
Well, first of all, you're comparing two different things. When I was advising these people or the parties, they are established parties. So advising an established party or making something from scratch are two different approach, I would say. What you're saying that I'm telling people that just think about your son more than your religion, more than your caste, more than what India, where India should be. You think about where your son should be, where your daughter should be. And that's the approach. After 1 year of study in Bihar, I found that this is something that could help us push people to think more rationally than emotionally. And that is why I'm taking this approach. Whether it will work or not, I don't know, because I have not formed a political party. But what I have designed in Bihar and what I'm doing 16 months, almost 4,500 villages I have lived. I've literally walked with Mahatma Gandhi as an inspiration. It's not only I'm putting his picture. You look at Gandhi in the first 20 years of him returning to India, he did not talk about, uprising against Britishers. He talked about self-reliance, self-awakening. And unless and until you build those virtues or at least reinforce those virtues among the masses, you would not be able to make people behave fundamentally different than what they have been doing. So my approach in Bihar is long-term. I'm starting from scratch. I've given myself 2 years at least to first have enough number of people who pay attention to this and like that, no, this is right. India will grow, but it's not necessarily giving job to my son. So I'm saying be selfish. If you hear my speeches, I say on the voting day, you must be selfish, the most selfish person on the earth, which is antithesis of what leaders say. Leaders say vote for nation. Leaders say vote for society, vote for caste, vote for anything, vote for mandir, vote for betterment of make India strong or punish Pakistan or China. I'm saying vote for your child. That's the whole message. That unless you take care of your child, nothing is going to matter, because India could grow and still your child could go hungry. So you need to be selfish. You need to be thinking about your child, because what I think, this is the only way that would probably help them break this cycle of exploitation in the name of caste and religion. Whether it works or not, all of you, with all humble, you have to give me one more year and see, maybe it will boomerang. But I certainly am following a different approach. Whether it will give result or not, that time will tell. But what I have seen in last 16 months, it is working. It's working in the sense that I go to a village which is, say, 90% Yadav. And I say this, that Laluji is not interested in caste. And people are a bit shocked. Are you saying Laluji is not doing caste-based politics? I say, no, he's not doing caste-based politics. Because where he has said that a Yadav community guy will be the chief minister of Bihar. He is saying that my son will be the chief minister of Bihar. All Yadavs should vote for me. So it is not a caste-based politics. It's a politics based on politics for his son. So if Laluji is entitled to take care of his son or be bothered about his son more than the community, you as Yadav are also entitled to first think about your son, then thinking about the other community, and people love it. And I see it on visually, people love it. They don't, otherwise I would have been thrown out. If I say this thing, that Laluji is doing politics for his son, you say this in Bihar, before me, people would have said that, you'd be chased from the village. And I move without security. I don't take any assistance. I do this free-floating discussion on the roadside, and nobody has uttered a single word, derogatory word. Whether they will vote for me when we'll form the party, that's a different story. But there is so much appreciation which I hear and see and feel. And again, I say it's an hypothesis which we are trying to test. I'm willing to give my 3 years of my life to test it. But if it works, it can give you dramatically different result than what people have been seeing till now.
We can spend some time on how much the voters' thought process has changed in the last 10, 12 years, since you've been advising and till now you're actually becoming an activist yourself. Has anything changed? Because, we all believe that the voter is very with us or against us. You're either pro-Hindu, you're anti-Hindu, you're pro-minority, you're pro-caste, you're pro-your caste, you're not your caste. So has what the voter wants from the politician, has that changed, or is it still the same that's always been? Wohi roti, kapda, makan, mera kya?
See, the voters are not separate class. They are merely reflection of, so they are a subset of society.
Yes.
So as society change, the voters will also change. If earlier society was consuming information through inlands and postcards, today in society we are consuming more information through Facebook, Insta and Google. So voters are also consuming. The voters are not different entities. If there is caste in society, then there will be caste in politics. If there is decline in moral values in society, you'll see that happening in politics as well. So I do not see it as a standalone phenomena that voters are, it's not that
I understand.
Me, Prashant Kishor, as an individual would have a different rules to live my life, and as a voter I would have a different rules to live by. If I'm in society, people are getting more radical, it will also reflect in the voter's behavior.
So, but
broad trend, if I look at real macro data, I don't see a major shift, behavioral shift or ideological shift in India. Even for this Hindutva thing and some of the news that comes that disturbs a lot of people, it's not new thing. There's Hindu-Muslim divide. It's not something that has started happening in last 4 years or 10 years. This was always there, almost like more than a century ago. It's just that some of those elements who otherwise were not saying these things or doing these things on the street are finding or getting emboldened in a supportive environment to come and say those things more loudly on social media or on the streets. But it was always there in society. Some of the ideological, I would say, fault lines between Hindu-Muslim always existed. Leaders of that time, sometimes they managed it well, sometimes they inflate it. But I wouldn't say that just because BJP is in power, now Hindus have started hating Muslims or Muslims are less trusting Hindus. That's not the case. It was always there. Some elements of them are feeling emboldened in a support, quote unquote, in a what would be seen as a somewhat supportive environment for such utterances and acts on the street.
To what degree has society changed by the leader, and to what degree has the leader reacted to what society has changed? So to some degree, every political leader says, now this is hawa yahan pe chal rahi hai, so we have to talk about this issue, or we have to capture that.
See, this is
to some degree, is he able to actually move the needle on how society thinks only?
Not really. Data is not supportive of that. Look at how much vote share. Forget about when you, from morning to evening, you are watching these Hindi news channels, which are just propagating only one, all the news channels are just propagating one line. Just look at the hard data. BJP has got 38% vote in last election in 2019. That was their peak, at least till now. In India, we have 80% Hindus. Simple mathematics will tell you that 38 out of 80 is telling you that less than half Hindus are voting for BJP.
Yeah.
So I don't see a tectonic shift in Hindu As a society, as a community, we are getting more radical.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we have started hating Muslims. We want Hindu Rashtra. No, no, no. Maybe over last 30, 40 years of effort of Sangh at societal level has moved the needle from 40% Hindus to 45% Hindus. It takes a lot more effort and time than what we think. The moment it crosses 55%, make no mistake, then I would start paying attention to the call of Sanatan Dharma, Hindu Rashtra and all. You need minimum 55 to 60% Hindus to be following and buying that idea. Because the moment you have 60% Hindus voting for BJP, you're talking about 48% plus vote. But even though it looks from 45 to 55, only 10 percentage point, it could take 20, 30 years. And if there is a counter, then it could go down again. So it has taken almost 50 years plus effort on the part of Sangh to have this level of, I would say, not polarization, but Hindus coming together under the idea as professed by Sangh, Hindu ideology, but still they have not crossed 50%.
That's
So and just compare this data from 2014 to 2019. BJP got 31% vote. So roughly about 40% of that 80. It has just, in 5 years, needle has moved less than 1% percentage point.
so. Is the other stuff
So
sticking?
it doesn't move as much as what
yeah.
the TV news channels.
No, fair.
It's
but
very
is the-
difficult thing to do.
Is the other stuff sticking for the voters? The voters say that India, we want to vote for India to be the third largest economy in the world. Does the voter really want that? Does the voter want this idea of global pride? Are these things? Does the voter care about these things as much as we believe? or
They,
we
they
told?
do. They do. They don't necessarily vote because of this, but they use this as a reason to justify what they're doing. So there is a lot of hardship. Somebody goes and tells that, how your life has changed. Your life has not changed. Why are you voting for Modi? They say, okay, my life has not changed, but at least he has made India a third largest economy.
Yes.
So these reasons, people use more to justify their voting behavior
Interesting.
rather than being guided that, oh, India is going to be third largest economy. Till date, I was voting for communists. Now I'll vote for BJP. It doesn't work that way. But those who are voting for BJP, they find reason to justify why they are voting for BJP, which itself is a big thing, because if they hold on to 38% vote, it's very difficult to defeat.
Since we're talking of what voters vote for, so this...
Don't make me the Gyan, all-knowing, but I'm just...
No, since you're also now on the street, you're among the voters now.
Whatever little I understand, I'm sharing. I don't know
Yeah.
what voters vote for.
So do you think that this whole argument that the opposition puts forward of democracy in danger, constitution under siege, so the ED, CBI, the chief ministers being arrested, opposition leaders being targeted, institutions being controlled, does that resonate among the voters, you think?
It does and it doesn't. It does, and that's why you see very different results in Lok Sabha versus Vidhan Sabha. You go to the village and you talk to the person that you voted for Modi in Lok Sabha. Why are you voting for a regional party or somebody else in Vidhan Sabha? Among one of the most cited reasons is we don't want all power in the hands of one person. So democracy, centralization of power, the fear of one person becoming so strong, you and I may not appreciate, but the common person understands this better than you and me. It doesn't because coming to the second, it does, I said, it doesn't because India has seen this kind of centralization of power in the past as well. So some of the BJP supporters or voters, if you go and talk about misuse of institution, they will immediately give you the answer, but it has happened during Indiraji's time as well.
Congress karti thi.
Congress has also done this. And that's why I said that what Modi is today in voting terms, in political terms, is almost like has become what Indira Gandhi was in 80s for Congress. So people were voting for Indira Gandhi, and that has led to centralization, and depends on that individual. When you have got that much power, when millions of voters are voting purely basis who you are, then whatever comes to your mind becomes the law. India is Indira, Indira is India. So it's not that if India would have not seen this phenomena before, the reaction would have been that much bigger. But people have seen this kind of centralization of power and use or misuse. So it's much muted, but it's not absent. People are aware of it, and it is also backed by data. You look at the Modi's ability to transfer vote, to get vote for BJP in Lok Sabha versus Vidhan Sabha. This is another data point I always highlight. Between 2014 to 2019, BJP's underperformance in assembly elections was close to 3 percentage point. Meaning BJP, despite Mr. Modi's campaigning aggressively, talking about double engine and that vote is coming to me, BJP underperformed by 3 percentage point. Between 2019 to 2000, now the BJP underperformance in assembly is almost reaching now 9 percentage point. So what does it tell you? Between 2014 and 19, people were blindly voting not only for Modi, also to his call, whoever he wanted people to vote for. It's going down. It's going down for two reasons. First, some of who he asked people to vote for, they did not deliver in the eyes of people. Second, his own charisma is probably has taken a little bit of hit. And third, of what we said, people don't want oversend. They are seeing the sign of somebody becoming too strong. So sometimes in their head, they are balancing it. It doesn't appear that in a, obvious, but at a macro level, it is the balancing on the part of the people. That's how I see it.
But then shouldn't BJP and Modi therefore bank more on the local leaders like a Vasundhara ji, like a Shivraj ji, like a Yogi ji, rather than
You can't be Sehwag and Dravid at the same time. You decided what you want to be. And
Can you not be
and
Sehwag
you
and
can't be a Sonia Gandhi and Indira Gandhi at the same time. Indira Gandhi had her own style and that worked. Sonia Gandhi had her own style that worked, but they were for the same party, same ideology, same set of people. They had a very distinct approach. Similarly, what Modi has opted is very different than what Bajpayee ji has opted for. Bajpayee Advani era and Modi Shah era is very different. Though they are dealing with the same ideological space, same voter set and everything, but it's a different approach. Now they cannot turn and become a consensus maker like Bajpayee. So they have to continue doing what they are doing. And unfortunate or the risky thing about this is I see the trend only getting more thriller. So somebody asked me who will be the who will replace Modi or who will be the next who will succeed Modi. And I always say nobody knows and no one should make a prediction. But one thing is very clear: whoever comes after him will be more hardliner than what Mr. Modi is. Would make Mr. Modi look on relative basis would make Mr. Modi look liberal than what he or she is going to be.
No, given
that's very clear. Directionally, it's very clear.
Given the Modi model, where he gives no space or quarters.
I wouldn't call it Modi model.
Yeah, no. So given his leadership style or approach that you're talking of, what explains the cult of Yogi?
It's nowhere close to Mr. Modi.
No, but
don't make this mistake.
No, it's still an exception.
No,
it's still an exception.
No, it's not an exception. But
BJP.
for Mr. Modi, Mr. Yogi would not be able to pull off UP on his own. Make no mistake. Mr. Modi is still the vote catcher. All others are there. But there's a huge difference. Huge difference. You take out Mr. Modi and have the election tomorrow with Mr. Yogi alone, he would find it difficult. Not yet. He has not reached that stage yet. He has not. It's like during Bajpayee and Advani's era, Modi was a very powerful leader, very popular leader in Gujarat. But he needed Bajpayee. He needed Bajpayee to keep winning. Now he has reached a stage when he doesn't need necessarily in that way Mr. Bajpayee or Advani. He can win it on his own. So Mr. Yogi has not reached that stage where he can do it without Mr. Modi. At least that's how I think.
No, he may not be competing.
That cult is in making.
Yeah, but
that cult is in making.
If he ever becomes big enough.
But it is not about Mr. Yogi. It is about what I said earlier. It is about having a more hardliner as the face and the leader of the dispensation called BJP Sangh.
No, among the...
It's not person-centric.
Among the BJP chief ministers, Yogi stands out because there is nobody else.
No, if you are chief minister of a state as big as UP, you would stand out any which way. Also, who he is, he would stand out. The size and who he is, his background, his pedigree is making a stand out. But you see, all BJP chief ministers are literally competing to appear more hardliner than their predecessors. So today, Madhya Pradesh chief minister or Rajasthan chief minister would make conscious effort and would make it obvious to the world that they are more Hindutvadi or more closer to the hardliner thought process of BJP than what their predecessors were. So what I'm saying, it is a more of a directional call. Don't be bothered about who the individual is. Whoever individual comes and takes that position has no option but to behave that way.
We're using the word hardliner, and that's correct, obviously. But is there also, would you also concede that there is also some element of governance that's actually changed? I would even ask the word, would you concede that there's an improvement in governance with these BJP,
I told
names?
you that what works for BJP is not only Hindutva. It's a four-layered thing.
Yeah.
One is this ideological base, which is Hindutva. Second is this hyper-nationalism, neo-nationalism, whatever you want to call it. India has arrived. India is stronger. India is more respected in the world. We are just about to become Viksit Bharat, Vishwaguru. That's the second layer. The third layer is Labharthi, what you're saying, governance, direct delivery of benefits. Whether it's Kisan Swanidhi or Shauchalay or piped water or cylinder or 5 kg ration. These 5 things have made a difference. Again, has made a difference in maintaining the cult.
Right.
And then fourth layer is the electoral and the political infrastructure, the muscle they have. Put these 4 together, they are getting 38-40% vote. It's not one or other. But between 4, if you have to still, and Modi is omnipresent, linked to all 4.
Yeah.
Those who believe in Hindutva, they see in Modi that under him,
Hindu Samrat.
We are better.
Yeah.
Nationalism, he is the one who is bringing India to the world stage. Labharthi, he is the one who is making us deliver, he is delivering this direct benefit which has never happened before. And the electoral muscle, the organization, the time, effort, resource they are putting, that has also not seen. You have not seen, say, Mr. Bajpayee going and campaigning as aggressively as Mr. Modi does.
Yeah.
So all these things goes into making of this Modi-centric thing.
And does the voter...
But it's not, if you remove Modi, these 4 still will hold. Modi might be replaced with some other face, but these 4 are the founding pillars I see on which the BJP support base is. BJP has based its support right now.
Okay, so if you take a state leader, there is a view that if they become too big, eventually they kind of this idea of functioning doesn't work. It has to be Modi prominent everywhere, and that's the only way this setup
Was it
works.
the case when Indira Ji was the Prime Minister? It's the same thing. We have seen this. This country has seen this. Let's not let's not get too anxious about it. Again, I'm not one of those who believe that he's just about to become a dictator and there will be no elections and he can take the constitution. No, it has happened in the past. India is too big and too diverse, and people, you have to believe in the people's wisdom. They're not fools. Nobody, no individual, no matter how strong he or she is able to steamroll 1.3 billion Indians, no matter,
of course.
no matter what comes. Yes, there could be some period of turbulence. It could be for individuals or collectively for a group of people. But to say that India will become one of those countries like in Africa where somebody has become dictator and there's no challenge to it, I don't see it. I could be wrong.
No, I believe that. But my question is, how does the BJP stay together when you have somebody who's delivered, who's done well from the ground, usko you sideline?
So long they are delivering politically, they will stay together. Like it happened in case of Congress. It's a common sense. Again, look at societies. When families divide,
when fortunes start falling.
Yes. So long you are making a lot of money in business also, families are all together. Brothers are like Ram and Lakshman.
Yeah.
The moment you take a hit, you have a debt, your business is falling, the both of you start fighting. So same thing happens in politics. Again, same thing. Whatever happens in society happens in politics as well.
So in your previous avatar, as a strategist who worked primarily in the back rooms, you were described often as somebody who's ideology agnostic. Now that you have come out onto the street, are you still ideology
See, first of all,
agnostic?
these are the fancy words people use, ideologically agnostic. I don't know what it means, but I tell you something. Any leader, political, religious, social, they talk so much about ideology because they would like all their support base to get so blinded with ideology that you lose objectivity. So if you are a BJP supporter, I'm a BJP leader, I would like you to get so intoxicated with ideology that you lose the sense of fairness. So I'm a believer of ideology of BJP. That means if a poor guy is being lynched on the road, I should not open my mouth because I'm a believer of ideology. The same thing for communists, same thing for Congress. My approach has been, again, whatever little I understand of Gandhi, that do not make yourself and your judgment subservient to ideology. And to that extent, yes, I'm ideologically agnostic. I do not want to become prisoner of ideology and support whatever right or wrong. If I think it's wrong, I must have the courage to go and say it's wrong. Whether it is coming from my ideological base or opposing ideological base. I don't care about it.
And what about the Indian voter again? I come back
and I always say, and I quote this, give example of Mr. Gandhi. See, Mahatma talked about being vegetarian. Somebody can just extrapolate and say he was very close to what RSS is saying, that everyone should become vegetarian. He talked about Gram Swaraj. To that extent, he was socialist. He was closer to socialist ideology. He talked about estate ownership of the assets. That way he became communist and he was in Congress. So how would you describe Gandhi's ideology and which political party you will put him to? You tell me, I will follow that party. I will join that party. See, in a country as diverse as India, you cannot have this one thing casted in a stone and say everyone just follows this in the name of ideology. And just to close this argument, in the human history worldwide, the most heinous crimes have happened all in the name of ideology. So please, in your quest to push ideology, do not make everyone blinded. We need Ram Bhakts, educated Ram Bhakts. We don't need uneducated Andha Bhakts in the name of ideologies.
So moving beyond ideology, and I'm coming back to what the voter wants, does the voter care about loyalty? Like I feel like, it's happening in so many state parties coming out of national, they keep switching sides. And obviously
they should. Oh God, never even say that voters should become loyal forever. Then you will bring the,
no.
You'll kill the democracy.
No, what I mean is that Nitish,
if anything, I would like to see in India more voters shifting from one side to another. Just give you another example. In southern states, which are seen to be doing better than the northern states on all economic and social development indicators, no individual post-independence has been able to go on to become chief minister for more than 10 years consecutive. Compare Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana, Andhra, no chief minister. MGR was, but even his tenure had a break in between. So nobody has got 3 times elected continuously. Compare that to Bihar, compare that to Odisha, Rajasthan. Some of these states are having people 30 years, 25 years, and they are the ones who are not progressing that well. So in our interest, in everyone's interest, democracy should be alive and kicking. Who wins, who loses is a temporary thing. We must not bother. The botheration should be if democracy is not being fought.
Actually, when I was talking about loyalty of the politician, like Nitish keeps changing sides. Now, is ideology or not, doesn't matter. The Thakres have changed sides.
No, voters are smart enough to make this distinction. Again, I will say.
Does the voter want the politician to be wedded to something? Or is the voter indifferent with the guy is constantly moving? Because ideology is not so important.
Voter wants, and it is reflected in the performance. It's just that in the headline of the news, you're not reading the subtext. Look at Nitish Kumar, who has done the flip-flop, and I hear comment coming from Delhi media that, oh, he's Teflon coated, without him Bihar is not run. That's not the so-called illiterate caste-based society of Bihar has taken note of this, reduced Nitish from 117 to 42. So Nitish is no longer the political leader, and the political sway he used to have with voters in Bihar is no longer there. And one of the major reasons has been his switching sides. So it's not that voter is completely ignorant of this or is not taking cognizance of it. You go to any village in Bihar, people will say, oh, he's a Palturam. Even his own voters, even those who are voting for him, they are taking note of this.
So people who have a strong vote base of their own, would you recommend that they stay in a ship which may not be kind of going to rise now? They stay in a sinking ship, so to say, rather than lose their own electoral sort of thing by jumping to the winning ship, by changing to the.
I'm not getting the question.
Would you recommend? Would you advise a candidate who has his own vote base, wherever in the country, would you advise him who's considering to jump ship to the winning party?
Anybody who does politics knows that you don't trade off your core vote. If you do, then you're doomed. Whoever you see as your core voter, like BJP, if they say we will not be pro-Hindutva voters would not be our core voter, then BJP is doomed. There is no way they can build on it. So similarly, the left of center parties who claim to be representing the ideology of left of center, they must build and invest in the core.
Yeah.
That is the problem. They have not invested enough in their core. If the core shifts, then there is no incremental vote.
Let me just rephrase a very badly phrased question. Jyotiraditya Scindia moved from Congress to BJP. No, give me a sec. A lot of people are considering this, what we hear. A lot of people like
there's
a Milind Deora's
Jyotiraditya Scindia or individual, they are not institutions. They are
not
individuals.
But they have a vote base.
They don't have any vote base. They're just migratory birds. They are going which side the wind is going. They are not
but they have some vote base.
Since when he has become the grassroots leader, who is Jyotiraditya Scindia?
Okay.
Who is Jyotiraditya Scindia? But for his father, and his father drawing from the royalty he is coming from, in what is his other pehchan in Madhya Pradesh or in India today? So Congress was wrong in first rewarding such people, and if you do wrong, you will face the consequences. All these people, the so-called 4 or 5 leaders which media talks so much, tell me what they have done. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, for some of you would know, he has spent 8 years with a steel box and building village level Congress committee in 1920s. Just read this book. How many 8 years he has spent doing that? How many of these leaders have gone to a village and built an organization or cadre or sangathan? They straight were brought in as a cabinet ministers because they were son and daughters of so and so. Now you thought that they are the big names, but they are at best they are the potted plants.
Has it hurt Shiv Sena?
They are the potted plants. That's it. So long the environment is conducive, it looked good in your drawing room. They didn't have the ability to grow within the natural setting.
So Nitish is not a potted plant.
He's not.
So to get back to Nitish, what explains this discrepancy that on the one side, as you said, the people have punished him from 100 and something, he's come down to 40 something. Then what explains the fact that no matter which side he's on, he's the always CM?
He is CM because sometimes the arithmetic is such, and why Nitish gets the CM position. I tell you why. It's because why countries in Africa with lot of mineral resource get more civil wars. Bihar, so like more minerals, meaning more people are willing to compromise and to get the riches from that mineral. Similarly, Bihar, UP states, they have become the source of the maximum number of member parliament. So what Congress did with Lalu, then it's not that Congress leadership, Manmohan Singh, Sonia Gandhi would not know the governance track record of Mr. Lalu Yadav, but still they choose to go with him because they wanted 20, 25, 30 MPs coming from Bihar, even if it came at the cost of complete failure on the governance front by Lalu. Same thing is BJP doing. BJP has not got Nitish Kumar because Nitish Kumar will get him more vote or seat or etc. Just I want to put this on record. BJP is going to lose seats in Bihar in Lok Sabha also because they have to now adjust Nitish Kumar, so they will be fighting less number of seats. They have got Nitish Kumar because they wanted to kill this perceptional thing that, there is an opposition alliance or a bloc called India. By taking one of the quote-unquote founders of India, they have given a big psychological blow to the opposition side, rather than them taking because they cannot win Bihar or they cannot do politics in Bihar without Nitish Kumar. Yeah. So I would say BJP knows the data and the fact, but it's a strategy where they have decided to lose the battle to win the war. If Nitish Kumar is there with BJP cannot fight more than 20-25 seats. If they would have fought alone with other partners, they would have fought 30 plus seats. Now Nitish Kumar will win more seats because he has to be adjusted, minimum 10, 12, 15. Last time they fought 17 each. So even though BJP had a 100% strike rate, BJP got only 17 MP from Bihar. So this time BJP on its own were looking to add to that 17. By bringing back Nitish Kumar, they are going to lose. Then why they would do this mistake? They would do this mistake because even if, say, 5 less member parliament from Bihar, they will be from NDA but not in BJP. The psychological blow it has given. Now the whole media is talking, India's bloc is finished. So that is what they have done, and they have done it knowingly. Is talking, India's bloc is finished. So that is what they have done, and they have done it knowingly. After the election, they will treat it very differently.
Yeah, so now that the psychological blow has been delivered,
Yes.
do you see in the very near future the BJP swallowing Nitish Kumar and the JDU?
They're already swallowing. It's a work in progress. Are they not swallowing him for last 4-5 years? They have swallowed him completely. It's only a skeleton left. They don't need advice from me on these things. They are far more smarter. They will finish him off. You know, by hugging him in 2017, they killed Nitish Kumar, who could potentially emerge as a challenger to Mr. Modi after 2015 victory in Bihar. They hugged him. They made him look like one more leader. And after doing what they have done last time, they have killed him completely. After, they will carry him on their shoulders so long there is a little bit of relevance left. After this, they know how to deal with these leaders. They have done it with many leaders in Delhi, both from their own party and outside.
So would Nitish
They are
Kumar,
ruthless. They will.
would Nitish Kumar not know this?
He knows it. So, but he is also like at his age, with no support, no party, no resource, no credibility left. He also says that now I have left 18 years. I have been chief minister. 1 year more, 2 years more, whatever I can extract maximum out of this. The last drops of juices he is trying to extract. So it is serving the purpose, and that's why they have done this deal.
2 more quick questions. We go to the audience. There's so many people here. They've been waiting to have a conversation. I'm sure there are a lot of questions also. We're saying BJP is very smart now. They've handled with Nitish, and that's.
I'm not saying BJP is very smart. These are your words. Everybody who is ruling, anyone who is ruling India would be smart.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying there must be something.
I said they know how to deal with this situation.
So there's something that
They don't need
Nitish
advice
also
from
must
Prashant
have
Kishor.
thought when he decided to go back. I mean, is he also seeing the sort of the shelf life of Mandal coming to an end? Like, is he seeing this whole Mandal?
self again in
Social
politics? You
justice.
guys are much more experienced than I would ever be. Anything, whether it's Ram Mandir or Mandal or Bofors, Jan Lokpal, in politics, in your life, you can use it only once. You can milch it only once.
But they've
not
been using
twice.
Mandal as the main plank for which.
No, Mandal gives again. Trying to be a politician in UP, Bihar, Odisha. Would you look at Congress as a platform? Probably not, because you know that there is a ceiling. It will be only sons and daughters of somebody who has been in the past. So that the biggest this service by promoting themselves or their sons and daughters they have done is to themselves, to their own parties. Make no mistake about it. The first one, what gives me hope, I don't see people as intimidated as the have-nots are not as intimidated as those who are well-offs in India. So that's a hope. And they still are the majority. The have-nots in India are still the majority. So I do not see them being fearful of saying, you go to any village, and I'm sure you are a veteran journalist, you go to a village, a woman would not mince word if she's not happy with Mr. Modi or Akhilesh Yadav or Rahul Gandhi. They don't mind saying what they want to say. Compared to an industrialist, he would always position his response as if, oh, the new God has arrived to save the whole entire humanity. What despairs is, again, linked to this, those who are blessed with education, resource, in India, upper middle class, by and large, they continue to be very insensitive to those who are still at the bottom of the pyramid. So in India, as a society, those who are well-off need to be a bit more aware. If not, I'm not saying they should do more, but that's a long shot, but at least they should be aware what their fellow citizens are facing or what they're suffering or what their life is all about. Just because you sit in Delhi, that doesn't mean that whole of India has become the Bisuguru and there's no problem. We still have close to 750 million people who do not make $2 a day. That's like roughly about 150 rupees. So, and we completely, the 300 million people, middle class, upper middle class, we are creating so much of noise as if everything has changed, everyone's life has become better. That's not the case. Almost 750 million people are still struggling for the basic needs. Just to give you an example of Bihar, people sitting here, you know, the old age pension is 400 rupees. 400 rupees. The person has to survive the whole month, everything in 400 rupees. Can any one of us would relate to the kind of life you'd be living if you have only 400 to live the whole month? And you're doing it for month after month. And people wait for these 400 rupees. The more important thing, they wait for these 400 rupees. And even in that 400 rupees, they have to pay commission of 10 rupees to get the 390 so that they get the basic medicine or whatever they want to use it for. So not being cognizant of the vast majority of India who is not as well off as we are is probably the point of despair for me.
The lady in the second row. Yeah. Yes.
I feel like in this neo-colonial world of technological revolution, data today is the newest form of currency, right? Now, when it comes to controlling data politics, I think BJP has absolutely aced that act as compared to other political parties, you know. And even as the opposition says that if BJP comes to power in the upcoming election, which I don't even feel like is a contentious topic anymore, it is going to be the death of, say, the fourth pillar of democracy, that is journalism. So do you think that's the case?
No, I don't agree with you at all. And I would disappoint many in the audience here, data and data privacy and all. You know, the technology has made your life, my life, information about us, what we do, what we think, is so open. You don't need to actually spy or steal data of anybody. The moment what you're using your phone, people know what you do first thing in the morning, which song you are listening. So Amazon and Meta and Google has more information about you than what any Indian government could ever procure. So yes, data privacy is essential. You should talk about it. We should have the systems and protocol to protect the interest. But let's not talk about that BJP is winning just because they have got access to data. It has got no merit. You can have, it's like you sit in the best library and still you could fail the exam. Data per se is not giving you any advantage. You need to know how to use it. And data is, look at social media. A lot of people think that BJP has the full control over it. Today, Rahul Gandhi's social media reach, engagement is higher than that of Mr. Modi. But still, it's not giving him the result. Why is not giving the result? Because he's not saying the right thing. He is not trusted. So what I told them, who is using that data for what, is as important. What was important is Mahatma Gandhi, the messenger, and what he said. It doesn't matter whether he's delivered that message on a postcard or today, if he would have been here, probably he would have posted the same message on Facebook. It doesn't matter. What matters is who is the messenger and what message he is delivering. We are thinking that only Elon Musk and Meta owners would start ruling the globe. They have disproportionate influence because of the reach of their platform. But they are not who can change the public sentiment in electoral sense, not at least in India.
But does the voter care about civil liberties?
They do, depending which class you're talking about. Not necessarily those who are struggling to meet. You know, it's a survival versus right debate. Even in the developmental world, we hear this all the time. And there has been an enraging debate over the last 2 decades. And ultimately, experts all over the globe have come to the conclusion that yes, rights important as they are, it cannot take precedence over survival. You cannot put right over survival.
Cool. Can you get a mic to Liz over the back there? Okay, you give it first here, please. And then to Liz at the back, then the young gentleman in front of her.
My question is very short. And
Sir, if you could just introduce, I know.
Yeah, I'm Bharat Mehta. My question is that before 2014, the couple of schemes that were started by the UPA government and were opposed by BJP in general, and Mr. Modi as the Chief Minister of Gujarat in particular, things like Aadhaar and things, sorry? yeah, GST, these two strongly. And run up to 2014 elections, he used this as a strong instrument for opposing UPA government. But they have adopted the same schemes, used it effectively, and are showing us their own achievements in those things. Why has the voter not been able to understand as to why this shift has taken place and why the opposition parties have not been able to take advantage of this shift? Thank you.
Sir, first of all, I do not read the two examples you gave in the same way. Look at Aadhaar. Much before Aadhaar was opposed by likes of Mr. Modi or talked about in like a dissenting tone, within the UPF formation, they were fighting, and that was an issue between Mr. Nandan and the Home Minister of that time. So they themselves were not convinced whether they should have a national register or they should have Aadhaar. If you go and talk to Mr. Nandan Nilekani and the whole people who were behind Aadhaar, they were disgusted with the confusion that prevailed. Mr. Modi, he came and he saw the merit in it, which unfortunately is not his brainchild. But this shows the state of affair of opposition. They had this tool in their hand. They are the one who started, but they were so confused, they were not decisive. Mr. Modi has been decisive with Aadhaar, and therefore he is benefiting from its use and universalization. So I would not put it that for voters, Aadhaar was one of the schemes during UPA. One of the initiatives which government was trying to do, still not sure about it. Mr. Modi has come and said, okay, this is it. Your life depends on this. So it's a completely different formation. And when it comes to political opposition, not only on these two, I can count another 10 things on which they would have opposed earlier. But there is also merit in it. Sometimes what looks an idea or a program that as a chief minister you're not supportive of, as a prime minister your role is different. I'm not trying to defend his U-turns. I'm just trying to tell you, because if you are you're a producing state like Gujarat, you are bound to be more wary of GST because the consumption states are going to benefit more in GST. But when you are a prime minister, you are prime minister of both the manufacturing state as well as the consuming state. So sometimes it is the policy need is also there, and little bit of political shift, of course, there. But Aadhaar, I think it is a mess created by Congress. It was one of the missed opportunity. Despite having the great idea, they did not push it with the decisiveness that was needed, and hence they paid the price. And if you leave it, whether it is toilet, whether it is Nal Jal, whether it is Aadhaar, there are so many schemes when the opposition get up and say, oh, this was our initiative. Yes, it was your initiative, but you didn't do it at a scale. You didn't do it in a manner. You didn't convert it into a mass movement. You didn't do it in a manner which would have given you vote.
Liz, please. Is Liz there? Yeah. Go ahead.
So voter is smarter, sir.
Go ahead, please. Is that Madhukish? Yeah. Please go ahead.
I'm a little out of turn, but since
ahead,
you've
go ahead.
given me the mic, two questions. My name is Madhu Kishor. Two questions. One, what you had to say to the growing criticism within the Hindutva fold against Modi's policies of Tushtikaran, Triptikaran, etc. I see very shrill criticism coming. Do you think it has any worth, weight, value? Second, it seems that while Modi is very militant in gobbling up chief ministers who buckle under pressure, but anyone who stands up to him, like Mamata Banerjee, he backs off.
The first one is rather simple. I have already said that directionally I see more and more say and voice and prominence of hardliners. So anyone who is incumbent would look less of a hardliner, and hence what the comment which you are making. But that's the trajectory, ideological trajectory, which is driven or guided by some core philosophy and belief. So that is not function of, we saw it in the case of Vajpayee and Advani, when Mr. Vajpayee was seen as a liberal, and there was a lot of the same thing, same sentiment against Vajpayee when people were flag bearers of Mr. Advani. We saw the same thing happening between Mr. Advani and Mr. Modi when those who were the flag bearers of Mr. Advani started becoming the flag bearer of Mr. Modi, criticizing that he's not hard enough. Similarly, this trajectory is moving in that direction more and more. What she was talking about, Yogi's cult, that we need a bit more. It's like it's an ideological intoxication. You need a higher degree of, I would say, hardline talk and actions to keep the same level of effect. It's a proven thing in science. You know, it happens in liquor. What gives the 30 ml liquor, what gives you effect today, if you consume it 1 year, maybe you need to consume 45 ml to get the same effect. What was the second question? Sorry. His ability to take the militant
backing
I
off
don't know if
whenever someone.
it has got nothing to do with Mr. Modi. Anyone who will stand up has a space because and can take on BJP because there is opposition on the ground. But you have to have the ability, the courage, the resource, the strategy to harness that. If you are not able to do it, then you will pay the price.
Please.
Hi.
Sucking up to them, if I can say so, sucking up to them is not going to give you a result. You have to stand up. I think Mr. Nadda said this, that if just because you come and take a picture and call me 4 times or something, you're not going to be we are not going to appreciate. We know everything that's what he claimed. But that kind of sums up their thinking, that you have to stand up. If you are fighting, you have to stand up. It holds true for everyone.
Let's go ahead.
Yeah. Mr. Kishore, I just want to ask about your own plan. You've been saying that you will you think about a political party after assessing the ground situation, after, getting to know what the people want. But you have registered a party in July 2022.
Here comes the journalist. Yes.
You have registered a party. Are you going to take up that party, or what is your plan with Suraj
first
party?
of all,
which you have
the
registered?
first state, the question is wrong. I have never said that I'm out there in Bihar to assess whether people want a new party or not. I have said that I'm here in Bihar to assist people form a party, because the data from Bihar is very clear. 55% people in Bihar have said in these many words that they are looking for a new alternative. What I am doing is exactly what I was doing with the political parties. I was advising political parties how to come together, how to build their organization, how to make it more effective, how to communicate, how to convert your support into vote. Only the canvas has changed. Earlier I was doing it for the party and a leader. Now I am doing it for the society called Bihar. So, as far as the party registered is concerned, I am aware that there are 3 individuals who have registered the name or a party with the same name called Suraj. But I'm not the one who has started this. There are 3 individuals and I'm in talks with them. It happens even in the domain. If you block a name, people take that domain and then they seek money from you, or they seek some benefit, or they want to be some way recognized, because we are doing the whole effort under the name of Suraj. If somebody has the brand name Suraj Party, of course, he or she would have some leverage. And it's not that I have started a party.
The young gentleman there, yes.
But there will be a party, so make no mistake. It's a stated goal. I've said it on 5th May 2021, that one of the goals of this whole yatra and the whole effort is to help people of Bihar form a political party. And we remain committed to that.
Okay, if we keep the question short, please, and the answers also a little bit short, I want to get through 5 more questions. Go ahead.
Hello, sir. I'm Mahir. You mentioned Indraji twice or thrice while you were speaking, and you spoke about centralization of power. But I would want I want to know that about 40 to 50% of the voter base has not witnessed Indraji's era. So do you think it is because they feel that this centralization of power, even though it's happening to the opposition is not per se clean? I don't want to use the word corrupt, and it's because of that they are, people are not voicing their opinion on this, and they feel it is right what the government is doing. Yes, targeted towards the opposition, but yeah.
No, again,
Can I take a second question with it?
No, I will just let him.
I'll take one more question,
Yeah,
please. Yes, please. The gentleman behind, yes, please. Short question.
Yeah. There was a question on Aadhaar.
Sorry?
On
There was
Aadhaar.
a question on Aadhaar, which was, yeah. There was a question on Aadhaar, and I wanted to ask immediately after that, but I got the opportunity now. The predecessor of Aadhaar was a multi-purpose national identity card. The pilot project started by Mr. L.K. Advani when he was the Home Minister or Deputy Chief Minister. Now, after that, when the UPA government came, the same concept, similar concept was transformed into Aadhaar, minus the citizenship provision.
So the question, please.
Now, the question is, why did not the NDA government take up this very beloved pilot project initiated by Advani ji into fructification rather than pursuing Aadhaar itself? Because multi-purpose national identity
Thank
card
you.
would have been much better in terms of its features, in terms of its usability.
Thank you.
Okay, coming to the first question of the young man, it's not backed by data that those who have not lived with the experience of the past centralization episodes of India are more oblivious to the centralization. If you look at the support base of Mr. Modi, it is actually now going in reverse order. More young people, he's losing support base among the young. He's consolidating more among the older lot. People who are consuming information more or less in a static manner through television, through WhatsApp groups, in the parks, through the newspapers and all. So over last 10 years, Modi's charisma, approval rating, and support among the younger lot, 18 to 25, on relative basis has gone down, while he has gained more trust and support among those who are above 50 and above. So it's not supporting what you think is. You don't need to necessarily live the experience to learn from it or to take cognizance of it. Sir, your register thing, I'm not the spokesperson of government to say why they have taken this or why they have not taken it. Probably what I know a little bit, what Mr. Advani has started or during his time was taken forward by Mr. Chidambaram when he was the Home Minister. UPA followed this two approach, that register is too cumbersome. So in the border facing state, we will go by the register, we will do cards in other states. So they remained in dilemma. Mr. Modi came and he said, okay, let's have one solution. And he went for the card. It's a judgment which anyone would do one way or other. They have gone for the card. And by and large, it's a sensible thing to do.
Question here, please, first. Please.
But coming back to the merit of this being multi-purpose, I think there are already chatter that how Aadhaar could be linked to the, multi-purpose card could be made, and where the election ID and your PAN and Aadhaar all could be merged in one ID. So it's quite possible.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I am CA Manmohan Kejriwal. Thank you for telling us to be selfish for our son as well as for our families.
No, not for you. It was for the bottom pyramid. For you, I said be more conscious of those who don't have. Yes, go ahead, sir.
But
I said for you to be more generous and those who don't have to be more selfish.
thank you. You have always, wherever you have supported the parties, your success ratio is always 100%. What I understand. आप जैसे charismatic personalities को जो intelligent हैं, strategist हैं, क्या रोक रहा है आप जल्दी से क्यों नहीं आते front पे? People like us, the whole society, whole country wants you to come forward and lead us.
24 घंटे का दिन है और उसमें जितना चल सकते उतना चल रहा है 15 किलोमीटर. You have to understand one thing. A lot of people come and say these things. Not that that goal is there. It took almost 30 years and the likes of none less than Mahatma Gandhi for Congress to become a pan-India phenomena, political phenomena. 30 years minimum. It took almost 30 years for Jansatta to arrive, and another 30 years to Jansatta to take a rebirth in form of BJP, and another 20 years for them before they first became the coalition lead, forming the government under the leadership of Mr. Vajpayee. You have to understand one thing. You're talking about 1.3 billion people, which is 1/6 of the humanity. So even if this 1.3 billion people need to know that there is a person called, God-sent person called Mr. Kejriwal who can change our life. It takes time. It cannot be done overnight. So anyone who wants to do this has to have 15 to 20 years thing in the mind. And I said the same thing to Congress when I was talking to them, that you have a 100-year legacy, but they have no option but to reincarnate yourself. No re-strengthening and all. You have to reincarnate yourself, and you have to have a 10-year plan and work towards that. There is no way you can do it short term. You know, I said somewhere else, the opposition and their tactics are more like a day trader in the market. You know, who wishes that every day I will trade and I will make some money. But the history tells us that you never make money in day trading. You make money when you invest and stay there for 10 years, 20 years. Maybe the return comes one year later. But temperamentally, you have to be a long-term investor. So you have to invest in the ideology, the formation, what you believe in, rather than keep changing every day. Today I'm going to go solo. Tomorrow I'm going to have India Alliance. Tomorrow I will go on Rafale. Third day I will become Hindu. It's not going to give you result.
Super. I think now we know the secret about your fitness, Prashant, that you're looking at 20.
My fitness, I've become so unfit. I was just telling Nandita ji that my doctor is advising that no more walking. Otherwise you'll have
You're
serious
looking
problem.
fit. Okay. So I know a lot more questions. So I need to get to my rapid fire. I'll do that now.
He's taking all the time for himself. And
No,
the
no.
rapid fires are the,
No,
like
rapid
if you
fire
do
is
not
all
get
yours.
the headline, get into the rapid fire. Because
So,
my
but-
hands will be tired, I'll say something that will create a headline tomorrow.
Well, we're all headline hunters at the end of the day. So I'll try this rapid fire. Then if he has time, we'll take a few more questions. I'm sorry, I know a lot of hands there, but I'm going to try the rapid fire first. And because you give me a great segue, you said about stock market. So the first rapid fire is the toughest one, and then they'll be a little bit easier. If you were a stock picker and these politicians were stocks,
Look, what are we
who would you
reducing
bet on?
ourselves to?
Who would you bet on? Should I give you a list or you want to tell me the 5 you would bet on?
I would not.
Okay, so I'll give you. Akhilesh, Aditya, Akhilesh Yadav, Aditya Thackeray, Chirag Paswan, KTR, Jagan Reddy, Raghav Chadda, Omar Abdullah, Udaynidhi Stalin, Abhishek Banerjee.
Look what he's mentioning. All potted plants. See, he is wanting me to pick from 10 bad stocks, which is going to be the multi-bagger. None.
So you give us your pick.
Sorry?
You give us your pick. Who's
No,
the two or three stocks that you think?
I don't know the name, but I will just borrow something which I heard from Mr. Gates. He was asked this question when I was in UN. He was visiting Africa, and somebody like us would have asked that who will replace you as the richest person on the planet? And he said, I don't know who will, but I know for sure that the person who is going to replace me is not in the business today.
Okay.
Because if he would have been in the business, I would not have surpassed him. So what I see is all the names what you're saying, it's like you're
young
you're
people,
looking the
yeah.
rear. It's not young or old. JP challenged Indira ji. He was not young,
Okay.
but he was not part of the dispensation. He was not one of the chief ministers or one of the political leaders. BP Singh, when he challenged Rajiv Gandhi, he was not. None of us could have predicted this in '85 that it will be BP Singh. Anna Hazare was always there on the horizon till he emerged in one form and he literally destroyed the credibility of UPA through the Anna Andolan.
Yeah.
So we don't know if that person, I'm not saying by default it will be a new thing. You cannot sell the old thing again and again.
Okay, so is there one person who's not in politics today who you think has a great opportunity in politics?
Anyone
From
who is,
any field, in business,
anyone who is willing to put 12 hours and has a 10-year plan has an opportunity.
What is
as simple as this, including you.
Okay. What is the number one weakness that?
No, I'm already there. I'm already in politics, so I don't fit the bill. Yes.
The number one weakness that may hurt the BJP electorally.
Over dependence on Mr. Modi may not hurt him today, but as it has happened in the case of Congress, over dependence on Indira Gandhi, the moment she went, all flaws are now apparent to us that there was no organization, there was no decentralization, there was no second-rung leadership, etc., etc. So long she was there, dominating, winning, nobody talked about this. So over-dependence on Mr. Modi is probably the greatest risk I see if I'm a BJP guy.
And BJP after Modi, whenever that happens, at some point, is there somebody you think is likely to take that place today you can identify, or will it be?
I have no wisdom on that. I just said that whoever comes will be more hardliner than what Mr. Modi is.
And will Nagpur decide, or will people decide?
Sorry?
Will Nagpur decide, or will the people
I have no
decide?
idea about these things.
Okay.
I'm sure it's a BJP rank and file, the cadre, the key stakeholders will decide, put together. How Mr. Modi was decided. There was not one room where everyone sat and came with Mr. Modi's name. It was a 2-3 years of grassroots thinking, talking, pressure building. That forced the stakeholders to sit together and recognize him as a leader.
The one thing you've learned from Nitish Kumar?
No, not U-turn. The ability to maneuver and gain from the place of weakness is something which I would like to learn. He's very weak. He doesn't have anything to back. Forget about this presently what he has done. To remain chief minister of a state as big as Bihar, as complex as Bihar, the person, he has never worked from the position of strength. In fact, once in his life he has tried to work from position of strength. That was 2014, and he was reduced to 2. So since then he has learned that, some of these leaders, including Mr. Vajpayee, Narasimha Rao, these were the leaders who knew how to win from the position of weakness. So sometimes it is, in reality, they are on the weak position, and they also make you believe what we say, koi isse nahi darta hai. So everyone comes around, okay, he's an harmless guy. So it's an art and a great weapon to have.
It's meant to be rapid fire, but I can't resist. Is there one story, one anecdote you can tell us that shows where he used position of weakness to his advantage? Because you stayed with him, you were like very,
Yes, I did. The very first time when he became chief minister, which was much before Mr. Modi, me, or anybody else, BJP was twice in terms of numbers than Nitish Kumar. And that time it was BJP who fought Lalu Yadav. But Mr. Nitish Kumar successfully persuaded or managed to convince the central leadership of BJP, Mr. Vajpayee, Advani, Arun Jaitley, all put together, that, this caste bogey, he understands caste very well. So he plays it very well. So he played that idea that only if you have you have me, then I can manage the caste thing. Otherwise, the Mandal thing will not let BJP to kind of win the state.
Would you advise state parties to push for caste census?
Not at all.
Okay.
State parties, yes. National parties, no.
Okay.
I think Congress made a big mistake. Congress leadership is completely, I would say, ill-advised by making this as a central issue. I've said this before, and they've already paid price. Probably one of the reason was, when you are a national party, Lalu Yadav saying that there should be a caste-based census is one thing, and Congress to say is a different thing. And they paid a heavy price, to my mind, in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh for overplaying this card, which again they would realize, like it happened in Rafale. Congress present leadership is overplaying this caste thing. It is only going to divide society. It will disturb their core support, whatever is left, and it will not fetch any incremental vote either.
The one secret ingredient behind Naveen Patnaik's political longevity?
Just remaining out of sight. So difficult to attack. So if you're not visible, it's very difficult to attack. You tell me, if you and I have to start, we want to attack Mr. Naveen Patnaik, what do you attack him on? Except for the fact that he's invisible. You don't attack him anything because he doesn't give you anything.
Okay.
It's just like when you're bowling, you just bowl on the six stumps outside off stump. So there's no question of it. Just you can't do anything but to leave the ball. Let it go to the wicket keeper.
Yeah. If Mayawati today were to call you and ask you for advice,
I would say that I have retired.
Okay, but if you're reading Mayawati's book today, what chapter are we on? Where do you, because that's one interesting personality who's,
I'd say the last chapter is already written. The BSP Andolan has been killed, or rather traded, to become the chief minister. And this is what happens when you trade the long-term goal with the short-term gain. So BSP, if it would have stayed the path, I'm one of those who believe that this could have become one of the national parties in true senses. But in their pursuit to become the ruling party in UP, they made too many compromises, probably diluted the Andolan of this Dalit empowerment, and a political party where Dalits where the Anusuchit Jati, they don't like to be called Dalit, Anusuchit Jati, SCs are at the core. That got diluted, and hence when there is no soul, then body can last only that much.
if the BJP were to call you today for advice on 2024, will you accept their offer, or?
No, why would they call me, first of all? And even if they call, why would I go? I have left them long back.
Okay.
And it's not about BJP or BSP. I have left that domain 2021. It's just that you guys can't stop calling me the political. But I find the funniest thing is that I'm called to talk about the entire politics of India. But if I say that in Bihar, Suraj will do well, people say, oh, he doesn't know what the politics of Bihar.
No,
I don't know politics of Bihar, but I know politics of whole of India. What will happen to BSP, to BJP, to Lalu, to Rahul. But I don't know what is happening to Jansuraj. And I find it very funny when journalists write this. I say there's no problem in them saying that I don't know about Bihar and politics. But the same journalists, when they say that I know anything and everything about politics in India, that is contradictory. So make up your mind, what do you think? If I know about politics of India, I know a little bit at least of that of Bihar.
100%. In fact, I must say, it was it was really enlightening to just watch his interviews and conversations around Bihar. It was like it was very different way of looking at politics altogether. So I must mention that. In fact, if you guys, you must go on YouTube and type, his conversation on Bihar is very interesting. Okay, which institution has a better finger on the population, on the pulse of the nation, RSS or BJP?
Any day, RSS.
Okay.
Not because who they are, it's just because the farther you are from the power, better you are, you're more likely to be closer to what people think. There is this line which I always say, हम लोग बच्चे में पढ़ते हैं कि राजा जब भेष बदल कर निकले तो उन्हें पता चला. This is a great line of wisdom. No matter who is the king, no matter how smart you are, no matter how big is your tantra of data and information collection, so long people know that you are a king, you'll never going to get the right information. तभी तो ये कहा जाता है कि ये राजा जब भेष बदल कर निकले तो उनको पता चला कि प्रजा को ये दिक्कत है. And that's the challenge. Every person who sits on the chair, he has. And that is what this fancy word of anti-incumbency. All those who reach that position, they have gone through the grind. They have gone through bottom-up only, most of them. They just, at some point of time, they get completely disconnected. Because everyone who comes, they tell you only the right thing, what you want to hear. Or even if you say that, tell me the truth, you'll say, nahi sir, sab to theek hi hai. Thoda sa ye lag raha, jara sa isko dekh lijiyega.
Yeah. Of all the people you've worked with, who was the most challenging client?
Nobody has been a client. So I never worked. I was a political aide. I have never worked in this client relationship. Otherwise, I would not have you don't live with your clients.
No, that's true. Okay. So between Stalin, Mamta, Kejriwal, Jagan, Uddhav, Nitish and Amrinder, which campaign was the toughest for you?
Toughest was Punjab in 2017 because it was with Amrinder Singh and Congress, which is up against a rising force of AAP. A lot of people do not realize that what stunning success AAP got this time, they would have got it in 2017 only, but for the campaign what we did. So I have said it before, I have said it immediately after the election. It was the toughest election. It not talked about much because it was not between Modi and Rahul and two national parties, but it was the toughest election to crack. Because when we started, Congress was somewhere around mid-20s, and Aam Aadmi Party was polling 50%. And every day we used to go and look at data and say nothing is moving. And 6 months the needle didn't move. But there came an opportunity and we just literally, electorally, we killed them. So it was tough.
And out of all these names that I said, you have people who you've worked very closely with. Who's the one person you've learned the most from?
I learned from everybody. My father has taught me one thing which has done great service to me, that whoever you meet, there will be always people who will look at the gaps. You look at what is his strength, why that person. So I have learned a great deal from Laluji, from Nitish, from Modi, everyone. We learn from, I'm nobody. I learn from everyone.
The one big difference between Modi of 2019 and Modi of 2024.
Oh, I told you that in his own way, in 2019, he was somebody who is taking India to the greater glory. In 2024, he is somebody who is bringing God to India.
Identity or welfare? Which one of these is the more potent election weapon?
Welfare.
I think
Never make this mistake. A bad government, no matter how much you play, whether it's Mandal, Kamandal, will not give you the vote.
Okay.
It will give you some vote, it will not give you the victory. Unless you marry welfare with identity with something, welfare with something, it's not going to work.
The one thing that needs to change in Dravidian politics.
Dravidian politics? Yes. Dependence on caste. It's a sad affair for some of the most prosperous and well-performing states. The influence of money in politics is far greater and worrisome than what it is in northern India. So elections in Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Telangana, Karnataka, to some extent now in Maharashtra also, are becoming so expensive, and the money which we hear and see, it's just unimaginable. An MP, a member parliament in Tamil Nadu, the money which they spend, probably that money is good enough to fight the whole state in North. It's sad.
If you were today to predict how many seats for BJP, how many seats for NDA?
Would never do that. I never do this.
That. I know.
I would never do this. I would say that as of now, Modi-led NDA or BJP they have a significant advantage. They are well ahead. It would take something unthinkable in next 2 months for their gains to reverse.
Okay.
It's not easy.
Last question, rapid fire. Then if you have time, we'll take for audience anymore. Is there anything Prashant Kishor is afraid of?
I'm afraid of...
Prashant Kishor is afraid of?
I'm afraid of getting up in the morning and realizing that my brain is not working. I'm very scared of this brain strokes. So,
okay.
So if I'm not able to think, that's something which really scares me.
That's a very morose way to end the rapid fire.
Yeah.
So we'll take one last question. Is that okay with you? One last question,
Yeah,
audience?
you can keep.
Please,
going.
the lady there's had her hand up for about 20 minutes. So I just want to, please introduce yourself. Keep the question short, please. We're really out of time.
Those two gentlemen here.
No,
have
I'm
been
sorry.
raising
That's not my eye view. Yes, one from there as well. In the meanwhile, maybe the gentleman here can get the mic.
Hello. Don't you think Suraj campaign started a bit late? Additionally, in your campaign objectives, you mentioned the importance of identifying the right people at the grassroots level. How do you plan to identify them? Who, according to you, are the right people as such? And furthermore, if you could please provide some insights upon Bharat Jodo Yatra. Do you think that it would benefit the opposition?
Well, who am I to comment about whether Bharat Jodo Yatra has benefited opposition or not? Definitely, if you do that kind of massive public outreach, it will do some good to you. Make no mistake, no matter whoever is doing. That kind of effort would have resulted into doing some good to Mr. Rahul Gandhi or Congress or opposition as a whole. But whether that incremental gain was sufficient enough for them to win election or not, data is out there. Of course, it did not help them in states like Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. It did help them, say, in Telangana or Karnataka, where there was a machinery and operators and there was an anti-incumbency to capitalize on. So it's a combination of, public outreach per se is guaranteed to give you result. But that result is not necessarily election victory, because elections are not only goodwill for you, but public outreach, a sincere one, where you put hard effort, will definitely give you goodwill and support. There is no two way about it. To that extent, Rahul Gandhi would have benefited. Whether that is good enough for Congress to win has got many other variables as well. To your question of whether Jansuraj we have started late, I didn't know why. What do you mean by started late? Whenever I thought that I am now convinced and I have the ability to stay true to my commitment and spend 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it takes to make this happen, I have taken the call and now I'm doing what needs to be done.
Would the Congress have benefited more if the yatra was being walked by Priyanka and not Rahul?
No, it is just not. Congress, again, the elections are different thing. Public outreach, public engagement, yatra or through other means is a different ball game. You can have a lot of goodwill for you. Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, these are the states where you would have seen Rajiv Gandhi's rally probably bigger than what he would get in UP or Bihar. But Congress was not successful in those states.
Okay, please. Yes, gentlemen.
Election victory is not only a function of how many people are coming in your rallies and how many people you're talking and are a fan of yours. Yes.
Namaste Prashant ji, namaste all. So this is further to the Jan Suraj abhiyan, which you have already started, and I come from Bhagalpur, so I've definitely learned a lot about that. It is being recognized as a force coming through. Now my question is that in 2015, 2025, where you are very likely to go for the state polls or the assembly elections, would you, suppose if you do not pull the numbers required, would you side with any of the RJD or the JDU or the BJP?
The question doesn't arise. I answer this question on daily basis in Bihar. Jan Suraj, what I'm doing there is not merely one more party formation to fight or contest election. I'm guided in my, what I'm doing in Bihar is what Mahatma Gandhi did in Champaran. Champaran did not give us per se the freedom. It gave us the tool called Satyagraha that was used in subsequent years, whether it was a non-cooperation or civil disobedience, and the whole country knew that this is a new tool through which you can fight Britishers and defeat them. So what I'm trying to do in Bihar is to take that hypothesis on the ground and test it in politically, socially most complex state. And if I'm able to prove it, then scalability becomes easy. It would no longer be seen as a Bihar-based regional effort, because you'd realize that if it is possible in Bihar, then certainly it is doable in Maharashtra. So that's the whole idea. So the question of any alliance, seat, winning, losing doesn't matter. If it takes 10 years, I will stay true to this idea for 10 years. It may take 10 years, it may take 15 years, but I'm not coming back. I'm not diluting it. I'm not diluting it.
Is your endeavor is not a political movement?
I don't believe in movements. I always say I'm one of those who think that movements, as they say, Andolan and Kranti, they don't do good to the society. The human history tells you that no Andolan or Kranti, no revolution, but for an exception of French Revolution, has ever done good to the humanity. Andolan or Kranti are like a weapon through which you can remove the incumbent. अन्ना आंदोलन हुआ, आपने सरकार हिला दी. जेपी आंदोलन हुआ, इंदिरा जी को हटा दिया. But that is not, it has got no creative element to it. जो सृजन है उसका एक अपना time. It's a slow burn. It is a slow process. So what I'm doing is not, I'm not trying to remove somebody from the power in Bihar. I'm trying to educate, empower, and bring people together that you can do this. And that is, to my mind, is what Gandhi's preaching is. Gandhi never did an Andolan in first 30-40 years कि चलो आज ब्रिटिशर्स को हटा देते हैं. He said कि अपने कपड़े खुद बनाओ, जातिवाद मत करो, अपना लैट्रिन खुद साफ करो. So unless you build those values, I don't think you would be able to. Andolan is just, it's more like a घी की आग. खाना जो है वो लकड़ी की आग पे बनता है. घी आग अगर एक ड्रम भी ला के जला दें उससे खाना नहीं बना सकते.
Okay, I think we should really, Prashant, he's being generous with his time, but I think we're running out of time. Short question, take one. I'm also seeing Iqbal there at the back. He's come from Bombay, so I'm going to ask him if he wants to comment.
Hello, sir. I'm Adnan Ali from Jamia Millia Islamia, Educam CRC. And my question is that in whole conversation, you didn't talk about the Aam Aadmi Party. So this is the first election when Aam Aadmi Party contest as a national party. So do you believe that Aam Aadmi Party make any difference in 24 results?
No.
Some
of you guys, well, you're a young person. Aam Aadmi Party is one member party, Lok Sabha. Just be objective. You need to grow 200 times in 2 months. Is it possible? In 2 years, it's possible. How smart you have to be to grow 200 times in 2 months? You are saying it's a national party. It's a technical thing.
But in 20
party.
years, you believe that it's because you know the one
no,
thing
not
anti-Hindu.
not even in 20 years, because they do not have what I call ideological and institutional rooting of any kind that make them distinct from BJP or Congress. So they don't have the legs to stay true for next 20 years, and short run, what they have been attempting to do, they failed in 2014. They were butchered in 2019, and I don't see them doing anything very different, drastically different at national level. In the process, they have become one more party in India. They are no longer have that distinct thing that we are a party with a difference. They have become one more party, like there are 300 other parties.
Okay. You want to take one last one, right? There's the last one, please.
Yeah, hi, Prashant. My name is Chanakya. So I want to ask...
Your name is?
Chanakya. So,
salute to your parents.
Yeah. So I want to ask two short questions. That do you think that what Rahul Gandhi currently doing right now, it will bring success in next 10 years? Because what he did south to north, and now he's doing east to west. What LK Advani ji did a Rath Yatra. Today, the BJP got success of that after a long time. Do you think Rahul Gandhi can do that after 10 years? Do you think this Yatra will do fruitful to that? And my second question is that when Prashant Kishor is joining Congress, because you have said in one of your interviews that your ideology matches with Congress, and after Lok Sabha elections, the Congress has to take a call. What will be the role?
Well, you're just distorting a little bit of my words. I was asked the ideology, and I said that my ideology is closer to what Congress claims to represent today. So there's a difference. But yes, if you have to bind me to that, I would certainly put myself more on the left of center than right of center. So to that extent, I'm closer to what Congress is claiming or is supposed to represent in ideological terms. The first question you said, what Rahul Gandhi's Yatra will do, I think just tactically speaking, this is the worst decision on part of him to just purely from the timing point of view. You are the commander of the army. You don't leave your headquarters when your entire battalion is at war. You do visit sometime. You don't leave the headquarters. If you wanted to do yatra, LK Advani did not do yatra 2 months before elections. This is the time when he should be at the headquarters, rather than him being in Manipur. So it's just a commonsensical thing. I sometimes, I find this very amazing that who advises these people and how they take call. Certainly they are much more experienced and smarter than us, but I just don't understand this logic behind it. 10 years, yes, if he continues this path, he completely erases the elections in between, but you have to be alive to fight 10 years. As in economics, they say, in long run, everyone is dead.
Okay, Prashantji, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It will really be 2 hours on a cold winter morning. I think very few people could have held the crowd like you did. Thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kishore. Thank you, Vandita. Thank you, Anand, for this insightful conversation. May now invite Mr. Rajkamal Jha, Chief Editor, The Indian Express, to present a token of our